So as we begin to finish up, I thought I'd just throw a couple of war stories at you because, somebody told me once, facts tell, stories sell. And, nothing is better experience than learning from somebody else how to do things the wrong way. And so I called a guy that is in the asbestos remediation business, and I just picked his brain a little bit, make sure I had the bases covered. He mentioned the things that we've already mentioned, the popcorn ceiling texture and the asbestos duct wrap. He mentioned the vinyl floors. But then when I asked him about, what story do you have that best illustrates what not to do for a realtor, he had a pretty good one. So basically what happened is the listing agent for a home found out through whatever means, maybe it was the home inspector or whatever, but he found out that there was asbestos in this house. Now, as you know, because you've been through this training, the popcorn ceiling texture or the duct wrap or whatever does not have to come down. As you know, as long as it remains undisturbed by whoever is coming next, it's fine. But for whatever reason, this guy decided that it needed to come down. And by this guy, I mean he's the listing agent, the realtor. So he took it upon it himself to call a contractor, not an certified asbestos remediation or abatement contractor. He just called a contractor, basically a handyman or somebody of that ilk. The guy had no idea what he was doing. He didn't use any of the tarps. He didn't use negative air. He basically just scraped it off here and it ended up down here. So what might have been about a $7,000 job, according to the guy I talked to, now this guy was in trouble because instead of just doing the remediation up here, now the entire house, wall, ceiling, floor, everything has got to be remediated. And he was getting bids of $40,000. And it was the remediator or the realtor that was going to have to pay this bill, not the homeowner, the realtor. And he was liable for it because he'd called this bozo contractor. And you can imagine what a $40,000 bill is going to look like to this realtor. He didn't have a lot of money. Apparently he wasn't very successful. He had he had some of his own money problems already. So, it's not like he could write a check for $40,000. He ended up being let off the hook for $15,000 for the remediation. In addition to that, he's also got to do a lot of the restoration that comes with maybe a meth project. He had to pay for a brand new carpet and pad. He had to pay for a new stove, new appliances everywhere. Who knows if he had to pay for perhaps a new washer and dryer. And who knows if he had to do any paint. I didn't get that much detail from the guy. I don't know if he was aware of what happened after he had left. But you can imagine, even after he'd been given a break from $40,000 to $15,000 for the remediation, it probably went back up to $40,000 after you're paying for carpet and paint and appliances, blah, blah, blah. In addition to that, the buyer required a discount because this property now was distressed. And so, the realtor got hit for that too. Of course, I don't have to mention that in addition to all that, the guy is not going to be seeing this client again for the next purchase. And so he's going to get hit that way as well. If you think that you're doing your client a favor by hiring contractors for them, just know that you are taking that liability. If the contractor ends up not being a good one for whatever reason, it's you. This is one of the reasons why you want to surround yourself with people who know what they're doing, not only contractors, but home inspectors. I've seen that. The quality of the people you surround yourself with is going to reflect on your professionalism. You know that. So, moral of this story for me, one, if you're going to call a contractor or somebody that is within your circle, make sure they're good ones and they know what they're doing as relates to the project at hand. And for me, moral of story number two is you're better off having the seller hire whoever they're going to hire so that you can be the realtor, the guy who sells the house. You can assist them, but I'm thinking you probably shouldn't take stuff off their hands and put the liability on yourself. That's for you to decide, but I thought I'd put it in your ear for you to think about. And I've mentioned this at the beginning, but this is something that was important to one of the Association of Realtor Presidents that I've worked with before. It is important it was important to her, and it is important to me, that you do what you are good at, and that is being a realtor. And let other people who are professionals in other areas do what they're good at. It's all about taking care of your client, not only for this one sale, but so that you can have ongoing referrals by this client as well. Maybe they'll call you again, maybe they'll send your family, but in any case, taking good care of your clients is going to be the ultimate goal. Put people around you who have the same goal in mind.